Hey everyone, Adam here, So Wizard Podcast. I got a cool screen review for you today. I got to check out the first episode of 12 for a new anthology horror series called The Dead Hour. The Dead Hour was created by Daniel B. Iske and Scott Coleman. They created it, they wrote 99% of it, and Daniel B. Iske also shot the whole thing. I did do an interview with Daniel that's coming shortly after this video drops. Really cool guy, really awesome conversation, so make sure you check that out. The Dead Hour, as I said, 12-part anthology series. It was shot over a number of years, actually a little while ago. I mean, definitely pre-pandemic. They were putting this thing together, and it just kind of worked out with Terror Films to come out now. It's coming out on May 12th to all streaming platforms virtually. I mean, I know it'll be on Google Play, Amazon, Tubi, many more, but out of those three, I mean, what more do you need? The concept is a little bit like Tales from the Crypt or even the Twilight Zone, where there is that ever-present narrator, and that would be the only through line in these. In the case of the Dead Hour, that narrator is DJ Raven. It's kind of like the DJ from the Warriors who's talking over the thing, close up microphone, where she's kind of giving you the lay of the land before things happen. In this case, it's played by Melissa Holder, who does an awesome job. It was very cool. She kind of has this all knowing wink to her voice, if that makes any sense, uh, which I really appreciated as a setup to the series. The episode I got to see is called The Donor. I don't want to give too much away, but it is timely, even though this was filmed a while ago. While this is a horror anthology series, it's not horror for the sake of horror. There's a bit of a morality tale. I'm sure some of them have kind of a be careful what you wish for, just like The Twilight Zone, just like Tales from the Crypt. It's right in line with those things. The Donor was creepy. It was well shot. It was well made. It was really well acted. Yes, it is done on a micro budget, but it really doesn't matter because it was all about the storytelling and they nailed it. The Donor was like a cast of three. I know some of the episodes get a little bit bigger. They have some extras. They have a bigger cast. They travel to more locations, whatever. But this being movie making, filmmaking in a small environment is a really perfect example of how you can do a lot with a little. As I said, it was timely. It hit on things we're still dealing with as not only a country, but as a world. But it doesn't get political. It's not in your face. It's kind of a worst case scenario for something that we're all dealing with, whether you like it or not, on a daily basis. And just the way it plays out, you can even see come of it coming. And that's intentional because it makes it all the more scary when things go that way. I mentioned at the top of the video, I did get to sit down and talk to Daniel, who wrote a lot of these, was a co-creator on The Dead Hour, and directed them all. And he gave a little bit of insight. This was shot in Nebraska. This is another great example for indie filmmakers and people who want to be creatives, that you don't have to move to New York or Los Angeles or Toronto, Canada to make stuff. You can just put it together and make it. Daniel went to school for this kind of thing. I'm not going to give you his whole background because I do an interview with him, but get the equipment, write your scripts. If you have a strong story, you can overcome a smaller budget. You can do a lot with a little, and you can get it out there. They were lucky enough to get it picked up by Terror Films, which really is a testament to the quality of the project. But even if that didn't happen, there's always an avenue like YouTube or something like that where you could get your work out there. It can be seen. It can lead to the next thing. They even got a lot of crew that wasn't necessarily industry professional, just people who were eager to help make something happen. They got to go around their hometown and shoot in places that they knew and expose this whole other side of the world that's not the same seven streets we've seen a million times from Los Angeles and Manhattan. And I just love that whole aspect. I found it super inspirational, and the results speak for themselves. The Dead Hour comes out May 12th on basically all VOD. Amazon, Tubi are the big two that I'd recommend checking it out on. You probably have Amazon Prime already, and Tubi is free for everybody. So make sure you get on it. Some platforms are going to be releasing all 12 episodes at once. Otherwise, they're going to do them in chunks or batches. Not really sure exactly how that's going to roll out. But no matter how it rolls out, no matter what your platform of choice is, I recommend checking out The Dead Hour. I'm really excited to get into the other 11 episodes because if they are anything like the first one that I got to check out, I'm all in. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We got a lot more great content coming your way. You're not going to want to miss out. Also, make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week, wherever you get your podcasts. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows, audio and video. I do one with Joey every month called Star Wars Talk, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. We also like hearing feedback, so make sure you drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. On a more personal note, a good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. It's called Social Studies. It's a coming of age story following a group of friends through high school. We write it like a sitcom and we do it in the style of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, love, and inspired us. You can find all available issues at socialstudiescomic.com, a bunch on Comixology, and a bunch on Global Comics. Thanks.